Do I tell my husband or not? My husband and I have been together for 9, married for 7 years. We have 2 8-year-old twins who we love very much. I like to think we have a good marriage even though it started out pretty rough. I fell pregnant during my senior year in high school, so we never stared off on the right. Being teenage parents is never easy. It comes with so many problems and difficulties. We always managed and found ways to work through them and becoming stronger. I truly believe I found my soulmate in my husband. I know I don't deserve and everything he has done and given to me. During the fall semester I shared a few classes together. We became good friends. We shared many of the same interests. We would spend time during together helping each with homework and studying. At one point we exchanged numbers and we stared to text each other like crazy. I never really thought we were doing anything wrong. I always saw him as a good friend, someone I could just talk. Last week the both of us ever invited. We both went with different set of friends. Even though we didn't go together, we spent most of our time together. Towards the end of the party, he asked me if I wanted to with him to another party his friends were having. I knew I should have said no, but I didn't. I had a few chances to change my mind. At point we lost each other in the club where the party was taking place. I went out of my way to find him. We would end up leaving together to one of his friend's party, which was more of a house party. I was already kind of drunk at this point. When I got his friend's party, we spent about an hour just talking and hanging out with a few of his friends. I also started drinking more. We both end up going into one of the rooms. I end up cheating on my husband that night. I felt sick to my stomach and left right after it happened. I called one of my friends to pick me up. I asked her if I could sleep over at her place. I never told her what happened, but she knew something was wrong. I haven't anyone this yet. I was going to keep this a secret because I was scared of the amount of pain I would cause my husband, and I don't know how he would react, but I am so consumed with guilt. I have never ever cheated on my husband during marriage or before. I've never even had a one-night stand. My husband and I are always completely honest with each other. If I tell him, he'll be devastated. I don't know if he would be able to forgive me, and I don't know what I would do if he left me. I know I am a complete coward, in every sense of the word. I am so scared of the fallout that I am paralyzed with fear. My husband, in no way deserves any of this. It makes me feel horrible to think of how he would react if he knew the truth. I don't want to tell him, but have been living in fear every single day that when I get home, my clothes and belongings will be thrown onto the lawn. I am so scared of the thought of someone else telling him. If he is to find out, I would rather it be from me, not someone else. I just feel so guilty all the time. I don't know what to do about it anymore. I feel like I was so stupid about the whole thing. It all could have been prevented. All I had to do was say no, but I just couldn't say no. I didn't know how to handle the situation. I don't know what to do to get over this. I am so in love with my husband. I feel disgusted with myself. I just don't know what to do if I keep this a secret. I could maybe save my marriage. If I tell him, I know he will be devastated and I could lose everything just to ease my guilt. I don't know what to do anymore. Sorry, I didn't mean for it to be so long. Comments. You messed up? Your husband deserves to know. He also deserves to know you if you used a condom. Either way, you need to get tested for STDs and you need to abstain from being physical with your husband. His health is more important than your pride or personal happiness. For what it's worth, you do seem remorseful. If he is ready for be prepared to do whatever he asks to put his mind at ease. If you were me, I would leave and not look back. You knew that man was going to be between your legs the moment you went with him. You are now just trying to blame the alcohol. Own it, as it's the only way you will ever have a chance. A house parties, a bed, and a friend. Your husband will eventually hear talk about that one. Make no mistake, I feel so badly for you. Not knowing your husband, of course, I have no idea how he would react to hearing news like this. For some men, it is the absolute end and no second chance. They would leave as soon as they got the news. Others might be willing to take a chance on reconciliation depending on how much they love their wives. At this point, there's just no telling. You could definitely start off by banishing this friend out of your life permanently. Tell him you made a terrible mistake, and you never want to see him or talk to him again. My guess is, he won't care much. He is hunting for you and you gave him what he had no doubt been lusting after for weeks. No reason to remain friends with you anyway. This sounds like the antics of a wild teenager, not a married mother of 2. The only chance you have of fixing this is by doing a U-turn and start behaving like an honorable wife and mother. 1. Confess everything to your husband and let the cards fall where they may. 2. End this friendship with the other man permanently. 3. Get away from the drinking and clubbing lifestyle, which is kryptonite to marriage. This is not multiple choice, but whatever, you would have to do all 3 just to have a fighting chance at putting this back together. If you are thinking of just rug sweeping this and hoping that it all just goes away, I would advise you to read some of the other threads on this forum and see how often secrets like these have a way of being exposed. OP responds some questions. We are no longer friends. Last time I saw him was the night happened. I thought about it. A part of me says yes, another say no. I know telling him is the right thing to do, but then again, if it was just once and he knew he wouldn't do it again, I think I would rather him not tell me. I think that's just me justifying not telling him. Either way, it's a lose-lose situation. I did seek this out. I didn't go with him knowing I was going to sleep with him, but I let it happen. As to why I did, I don't know. I ask myself over and over why I let myself do it. I can't find answer why, and it's killing. I have a husband who loves me like crazy, 2 wonderful kids. I have a life most women would kill for, and I risked it all for what? I was played. I know telling the right thing to do is you put the honorable way. If I tell him I risk losing him, I don't know for sure how he would react. I would like to think his love for me would be enough to get me a second chance. I know he loves me, but is that enough? A big part me feels like I won't get second if he ever were to find out. I already stopped talking to my friend. We both crossed line we shouldn't have. I don't think he was just trying to get some. He really was a good friend and someone I could talk to. Yeah, there is no reason to continue this friendship anymore. I really don't want to be friends with him anymore. I did cross the line before the act actually took place. I said before everything could have been prevented. The difference is everything before the act could have been forgiven. I know my husband would be angry, rightfully so, but he forgives me. My husband was going to come with me to the party. Something came up last minute and he had to go out of town on business. My husband told me I could go by myself if I wanted to. I always loved my husband since the first day I meet him. My husband can be kind of a workaholic, and yeah, at times I have felt a little neglected, but he always found a way to make up for it. He, my husband, has always been capable of meeting my need both emotionally and physically. If anything, sometimes I wonder if I always meet his physically needs. My husband has an amazing job providing for me and the kids. Overall, my husband has been an amazing father and husband. I really couldn't ask for anyone better. Honestly, I really don't feel that comfortable posting isn't something someone said. I have never been a very open person. Hubby's always been the person I went if I need to talk. I wasn't planning on continuing posting. It was just supposed to be one post, but it does help reading everyone's replies. I thought about keeping this from him. Part me does feel keeping this a secret is the best thing to do, and I know the fallout could be something I am not ready to face. I know I will never do anything like this again, and especially not on my husband. At the end of the day, I really do love my husband and he deserved to know. I know deep down I wouldn't be able to keep this secret for the rest of my life. The guilt is already killing. I can barely look at him and not want to cry. Even if he never finds out, I don't see myself ever being truly happy knowing what I did and keeping this from him. It's only been about a week since it happened, and it's already causing problems in our marriage. I'm pretty sure my husband has picked up on it and knows something wrong between us. The lies would probably kill this marriage sooner or later. A month later update. Last night was crazy and I don't know what to do or what's going to happen now. I asked my parents if they could pick up the twins from school, so my husband and I could be alone. I was scared I wasn't going to be able to tell him everything, and I thought it would be easier if I wrote him a letter telling everything that happened between me and my IP. I put everything in the letter and I tried to remember everything from that night. I know it might have been the cowardly way out, but I didn't know if I was going to be able to verbally. Writing him a letter seemed like the best way to do it. Hubby came home around 5. The house was empty since the twins were with my parents. I sat him down in the living room and asked if we could talk. We sat there for a few minutes saying nothing. I showed him the letter I wrote before I handed him the letter. Before he even started reading, I began crying and begging him for another chance. He didn't know why I was crying and asked what happened, but I couldn't stop crying to answer his question, and I asked him to read the letter. As he stared to read the letter, I could tell when he started reading about what I was done by his facial expression. When he was done reading the letter, he just looked at me with sad eyes. A face of completely sadness, hurt and disappointment. I never saw him like that. He stayed like for a few minutes, then I stared asking him to say something, anything, but he said nothing. He went to sit on the couch. We stayed there for about an hour and then he got up and went into his little man cave room. I tried to follow him, but he locked himself in his room. He didn't leave the room until today so he could go to work. At least that's where I think he went. I tried calling Cell in his office, but he didn't answer. Sent emails and texts, no answer. I haven't been able to him all day or even get a hold of him. I don't even know if he's coming home today since it's already almost 7 and he isn't home yet. I really need help now. I can't stop crying and shacking. I really don't know what to do. I keep trying to find ways for him to contact him so I can talk to him. I will do anything he wants if it means saving our marriage. I love him so much and I don't want to lose him, and I want to help him any way I can, but I don't know how. I never wanted to hurt him. I always tried to be the best wife for him and to make him happy. I don't know what to say of how to fix everything I have done. I destroyed everything I ever wanted. Some please help me. Comments. Try putting yourself in his shoes and he was the one who handed you a letter stating that he cheated on you with another woman. You would be doing the same thing. He's hurting, and the kind of hurt he's going through is worse than any kind of physical pain. Sooner or later, he's going to come home, and when he does, be prepared for a ton of questions, and if you're smart, you'll answer them with complete honesty. He's going to need a lot of space, and smothering him will make it worse. In his eyes he's seeing a woman that he doesn't know. Right now, you're a complete stranger to him, and by pushing yourself on him might make him even more angry. He needs time because it's the only way he can figure out what he wants, and whatever he decides to do, then you'll have to accept it. You own the affair and you can't undo what has already happened. OP, give him time. Right now his world is crashing down around him and he will need time to assimilate this. You need to be prepared. He may come with a lot of question about what happened. Don't be surprised if he does. Be completely transparent with passwords, social media and location you are going. Give him your complete itinerary. Leave nothing out. You did the right thing telling him the truth. I know it hurts, yes, but this will give you the best foundation to repair the marriage. OP responds, I know I need to give him space, and me continuing blow up his phone isn't help that cause, but the not knowing is killing. I don't know where he is or if he's okay. I just need to know something, anything at this point. I can't sleep not knowing if he's okay or not. I tried calling his parents, brother, sisters, and even some of his friends, and none of them know anything about where he could be. I know I hurt him the worst way possible, and I will never be able to understand just how badly he's hurting. In the letter I told him I would answer any and all question he had. I won't lie to him anymore. Any question, he will get the truth regardless how it makes me. The last thing I want to do is make things worse between us. Some weeks later, sorry for disappearing on you guys. Sadly, things seem to be getting worse as the days pass. My husband still hasn't come home yet. I tried calling every that knew him, hoping someone could tell me where he could be, but I got nothing. I even tried going to his parents' house and his brother's house, hoping he would be there, but he wasn't there. I even went to his dad's firm. He works with his dad, but he wasn't there either. I did get a text from him telling me to leave him alone. I haven't heard from him since. I still tried contacting after that text, but he wasn't answering. So, stop for now. I haven't really been eating or getting that much sleep. Before I confess, since then I haven't eaten anything and then only sleep I was able to get was with the help of meds. I am trying to stay positive and hoping for the best, but everything seems like a lost cause. Well, my husband came home around 5. I tried to talk to him, but he wasn't having it. He just ignored me and went into his room. I was in front of his door crying and begging him to let me in so we could talk. After a while he got tired of it and came out scheming, telling me to leave him alone and calling me a few not so nice names. So, I did. I went upstairs to our room to leave him alone. My AP is single. Well, at least that's what he has told me. He could have been lying, and what I have read about affairs, the usually does lie, so who knows. I don't really care. He's not my concern. As for my husband getting revenge on my AP, I don't really care what he does to him as long as it won't land him in any kind of trouble. Last thing I want is for my husband jeopardize his future and his career because of what I did. If my husband wants to do something with someone else, then I can't really stop him, although I would rather he not does anything like that. Just the thought of it hurts like crazies. I know that's hypocritical of me, but that's how I really feel. If my husband does go the divorce route, then I want it to be easy as possible for the both of us. I would like to make it as fair as possible for me, kids, and him. I never understood why anybody would want to take their spouses to the cleaners. It's usually always the kids that suffer because of it. If my husband does decide to divorce over this, then that's his choice, and he has every right to do so if that's what he wants. What meant by fair had nothing to do with anything financial as in alimony, property, or anything like that. What I meant by fair was how we would share custody. I want our kids to see us equally, so I would want 50-50 custody. If my husband doesn't see that as fair, then yes, I would fight. That does not mean I would take him to the cleaners. When it comes to alimony or any other kind of support, I don't want. My husband has done more than enough for me when it comes to anything like that. I wouldn't ask for more. Well, my husband left again Sunday in the afternoon and still hasn't come back home yet. I only called him once since he left. I'm trying to give him space and not pressure him to do anything, although the waiting and not knowing is haunting me. I keep reminding myself I need to give him space since I know he's hurting way more than I am. I do plan to tell my parents about what's going on later this week. I didn't want to tell them because I was still am scared how they will react, but right now I need them. I don't really have anyone to talk to in real life, although you guys have been great support so far. I did decide to withdraw from school this semester. I talked to all of my professors and they all were very understanding and agreed to approve my withdrawal from their classes. Comments: yes, give him time and space. He needs it. By not giving it to him, you are telling him your feelings are more important than his. Not good at this point. I don't know how he will react later on. My husband cheated on me in the most horrible way. For years, when I found out, I felt exactly as you describe your husband felt. That sadness, disappointment. Is truly overwhelming. Your husband is lost and doesn't know what to do with his feelings. If I were you, I would try calling his best friend or family member, the one he is the closest to, and tell him what happened. Be honest. Then tell them to go find him and make sure he is okay. Tell them he doesn't need to come home if he wants his space, but that you are there waiting for him, to talk to him about this whenever he is ready. That you love him more than anything and will wait for him to be ready to talk. You confessed, and that's huge. He will realize that, and that's a good place to start. It tells him you have remorse, you are not a sociopath and couldn't live with this secret. I think he will eventually come over and at least talk to you. I think for men is really difficult, more so than for women, to forgive. But if I were you, I would go to a therapist to get some pointers on how to talk to him when he is ready. What to say? If he demands details. I think that's not a good thing. So make sure you are ready to talk, without hurting him even more. You will need counseling, for a long time, and well, maybe this will even make your marriage stronger. As possible. Good luck. OP responds. My husband came home today after been gone since Sunday. I am very confused right now after having him avoid and ignore me for the past weeks. He's acting very strange. It's hard to explain. He's still not talking to me, but he came home the same time he usually does, played with the kids for a bit. Then we all eat dinner together as a family. After dinner we both help our kids with their homework, and after that he helped me put them to bed. We really didn't talk much during, but it was somewhat of a normal night. The tension was still there. He's downstairs right now watching the game. I kind of want to see if he wants to talk, but he hasn't really given me any signs, so maybe he does want his space. He doesn't look angry right now and he seemed okay. I don't know, acting pretty weird given the way he has been acting for the last few weeks. I'm not blame shifting or justification for what happened, that was all on me. We both have weak boundaries, but that doesn't make you cheat. At the end of it you still have a choice. My husband isn't perfect and he has made his share of mistakes in the past, like I have. We're human, it happens. With that being said, my husband hasn't done anything to make me want to cheat on him. He has been a great husband. I feel many posters are trying to find a way to connect why I did it with my husband when feel the reason why really doesn't have anything to do with him. Things haven't gotten any better. My husband finally asked to talk to me. It wasn't the kind of conversation I wanted to have with him. We talked yesterday after we put the kids to sleep. We meet in the living room. He eventually came to and sat me down and said we needed to talk. We meet in the living room. I was so nervous because I thought he was going to present me with divorce papers or something. He said he did a lot of thinking and he stared off by saying he didn't know if he wanted to stay or to file for divorce. After thinking about, he came up with the idea of having a 3 to 6 month separation. So, he could have a chance to think about what he really wants, and he also wants to move out during the separation. He also already plans to move out by the end of the month. I told him didn't want any kind of separation. I begged and pleaded with him to reconsider and I would anything he wanted if he stayed with me. He just looked at me and told me if I didn't agree with separation then he would just go straight to divorce. He got up and went to his room. I don't know what to do. My heart is breaking. It seems I am damned if I do and damned if I don't. If I agree to the separation then it will just crush me. I love this man so much even though I know I did something stupid and it kills me. I just don't know what to do. I keep begging him to think of another way to solve this and that I need him. He says I should have thought of that before I screwed another man and that this is all my doing. I know I have caused him unbelievable amount of pain, and I know if I agree to this separation, there's a very good chance we won't end up back together. I really want to let him also know I miss him so terribly and my heart is broken. We still live together, but I feel so far away from him now. I miss the little things he used, the way he would kiss me. I miss his touch. I miss the way he used to look at me. I just can't stop crying. We don't sleep in the same bed anymore. I turn over during the middle of the night and I'm so used to him being there, and now all I feel is just empty space and it just kills me inside. I see the pain in his face and it breaks my heart to know I'm the reason why. And then it feels worse when I realize he is probably hurting a lot more than I am, and just the very idea of that kills me because what I'm feeling now is unbearable, so I know I'm putting him through something that much worse than what I am feeling. I haven't stared MC yet. I have been going to IC, although I did miss this week's appointment. I think of asking him tonight if he would be willing to attend counseling with me. I was going to do it a few days ago, but the talk we had set me back. We haven't had any discussion about the separation. We have been kind of avoiding each other since the talk. So, don't know how we'll handle finances or how the schedule with the kids. Same goes for new place. I don't know where he's moving to. I believe it could be with his brother, but I'm not sure, and wherever he moves to I doubt I will have any access to his new places. Why would I? He will have access to our house since it's still his house as well as mine. I believe the reason for him wanting a separation is to see what's out there and probably will date other women, and that scares me. I know I still have to have another talk about this. I'm hoping we have a chance to talk tonight. I haven't told any of his family or any of our friends. I have told my family, almost all of them anyway. Besides the people here, my mother was the first person I told and she helped tell my sisters. My father and brother don't know yet. My dad away on business. I plan to tell him and my brother when he returns. My mother was angry, disappointed and ashamed of me, although she has been very supportive so far and a big help. My sisters had a similar reaction to my mother. I don't know how his parents would react. I do believe they might know, or at least his brother. His brother and I share a good relationship. I consider him a real brother. He has helped us a lot when we were younger and staring out. He also comes over regularly to have dinner with us. My husband and I were able to have a short conversation about the separation and how it would work. My husband said he wanted to maintain everything as normal as possible and didn't want us to make a life-changing yet. We did talk about how we would share the kids. We both weren't able to find a way we both would like. We both don't want the boys to hop around from places to places, so we will have to find a way to work that out. We also talked about the finances. He wants to keep the finances as they are. For most of the conversation, my husband was somewhat calm and didn't really show any anger. I also told him about my school situation and why I had to withdraw from school. When I told him, it didn't anger him. My husband pays for most of my schooling and I withdrawing did cause to lose some money. He called me few and a few comments about me. I know he said them out of anger, and with everything I have done has hurt a great deal. So, I know he didn't mean them, but they still hurt. We end the conversation. We still have a lot figure out if he does decide to separate. I also wrote him another telling him how sorry I was and how I would do anything he asks of me if it meant fix the damage I caused to our marriage. I also attached a list of marriage counselors and told I hoped we could go see one for at least a few sessions before separate. I wanted to tell him during our talk, but the way it ends and how angry he was after. He didn't want to talk to me, so I had to do the letter. I just hoped he reads it. Update. I thought I would give you guys a little update. Things have gotten a little bit better. We have talked a little more. I have brought up going to marriage counseling and if we could go to at least one session together. He never know, but he did tell me he would think about it. To me it's pretty big, since I never thought he would ever think about. I have also given him a list of all my passwords to my emails and any social media sites I use. I haven't told his family about my and I'm going to wait for him to give me the cue to tell them that's what he wants. Everything seems to be going better. Yesterday we had a great family day. We went to go watch the boys' soccer game together, and afterwards I planned so we could go to the aquarium that was close by after the game. He even held my hand as we walked through the aquarium as we visited the different exhibits. I also think I made some kind of breakthrough yesterday. After we got home, hubby helped me around with the kids and get ready for bed afterwards. We are downstairs. I followed HM. He was watching basketball. After the game he asked if we could talk. Of course I said yes. He stared, asking different questions about the affair. I give him many of the answers to his questions in the first letter I wrote him about this. I answered all his questions. Most of questions he asked last night were the easy ones for me anyway. He didn't ask the why question yet, which I don't really know do when he does ask that question, because I really don't know yet and I don't know how to answer those kinds of questions. After the talk we even cuddled on the couch for a bit. I wanted a little more, but that's okay. I do have another question: what exactly hysterical bonding is. What I had gotten so far, it's an increase in bedroom time in which becomes very passionate, intimate overall. Just, if someone could explain it better, that would be great. Last, how does a BS feel about it? I can see a WS would want, but not so much a BS. You'd think that would be the last thing on their mind, right? So, if a BS could tell me how they felt during hysterical bonding, I just want to get a better understanding, that's all. Weeks later, things are going better. We have finally stared HB last Saturday and we are still going strong. It all started Friday. The boys had a sleepover, so we had the house to ourselves and I took complete advantage of it. I had a romantic dinner made for us that Friday, which was a surprise for him. The dinner went great and we ended sleeping in the same bed that night, but we didn't do anything physical that night. Although it was still a very intimate night, we did a lot cuddling and holding each other. That Saturday was when we stared HB. He has become more affectionate towards me again and I'm so glad he has. I so missed the way he would hug, hold and kiss, and just being able to share the same bed again has been a huge relief. At one point I was going to bed with his t-shirt on just so I could feel close to him. On the other hand, he still hasn't said what he wants. So, I don't really know yet. I hope since we started acting like a couple again means he wants to try to but I really know yet. We really haven't talked about us or in the last few days. I don't really want to bring it up since part of me is scared of what could happen. Overall, I think everything is going okay given how things were a few weeks back. Sometime later, my husband and me are doing a separation right now. So, we are separated, right? We've been separated for a little more than a week right now. He says he just needs space and doesn't want a divorce yet. I hope that's true. I'm just trying to keep together, but it's so hard when I miss him so much. We haven't really talked much since we started the separation. The only time we do talk is when it's about the kids. Besides that, we don't talk. The boys haven't been doing too well either, hurting just as much as I am. I don't really know what to do anymore. I know a separation isn't a good sign either. Though a separation always meant things are pretty much done. I hope it isn't true in our case. My husband and I did share a few weeks of HB, which was really great. I wish we could go back to that. He asked a few questions, most of the obvious ones most BS asks, and I have answered all of those questions. I wrote out a timeline of everything from the first day we meet in class to the last time we saw each other. I never wrote a NC letter, mostly because I already went NC with my AP and sending him a NC letter would be kind of like breaking NC, so I didn't do it. My husband has never come out and said never contact him again, but that's pretty much a given. I know what would happen if I ever talked to my AP again. My husband knows I want to reconcile and I am planning on waiting for him to make up his mind. My side of the family knows I have told. I haven't told my in-laws yet. My husband told he didn't want them to know just yet. I was willing to tell them, he would rather wait. 2 months later, my husband and I are still going through a separation. Although things have started to get a little better between us, we started talking again, which I feel like it's pretty big since he hasn't really wanted any kind of contact with or tried talking to me for almost a month. He's been kind of cold towards me for the most part until now, where he has started talking to me again. We also started spending some time together. Most of the time it's with the kids. We haven't really done anything without them. Most of the times it's us four watching a few World Cups games together. It at least starts from where I was a month ago. I hope it continues to get better. Overall, I have been feeling a lot better about myself. I feel I see has been reason why. My counselor has been great and a huge help. I feel like I'm doing much better now. I'm at least able to function, and I have started eating better too. I still have those days where I just break down and cry, but overall, I feel like I'm doing better. Sleep can still be a problem some nights. It's hard getting used to be alone at night. I wish I could say the boys have been doing better, but I can tell they're having a hard time with everything. I wish there was something to all of this easier on them. Another couple months later, Labor Day weekend is where everything really started getting better. We were intimate for the first time during the separation during that weekend. From there we slow started spending more time together, just us without the kids, and we started sleeping together more regularly. Some nights he would actually stay the night. Around this time, he brought up marriage counseling. I jumped at that chance and agreed to try marriage counseling. We have already been to 2 sessions already and it seems to be going well. He also agreed to move in, but on grounds we stay in separate rooms. Someone on this site gave me the idea and hubby seemed to like it. So, he has moved in with us, me and the kids, but sleeps in the guest room downstairs. Although I have been going to sleep in the guest room with him, he hasn't told me no or anything, so I plan to continue to do until he says something. Plus, I miss not being able to sleep next to him. He's been here since the 1st of October, so he's only been here for a few days a week yesterday. He hasn't agreed to reconcile just yet, but with everything going on it looks like we will. Well, that's what I hope, and I'm super happy about that. This whole thing has been like a living hell for me and for him too. I just hope we can put this behind us and start working on us. Although part me feels like this is only the beginning and it's going to get a lot harder, but that's alright. I am just glad he's home. It's also great since the holidays are right around the corner, and having us all together is great. At one point, I didn't think we would ever be together again. 3 months later, overall, my husband and I have been doing okay for the most part. We still have days where all he thinks about is the affair and has pretty bad triggers. I think the triggers are the hardest things for him. Almost anything can cause him to trigger. Usually when they happen, he doesn't want me around. I try my best to give him his space when it happens, but those days are happening less and less and they don't last as long anymore. The biggest problem I'm having is he just doesn't want to talk about the affair anymore and isn't really big on continuing go to MC, but he still goes with me. Besides that, I think everything is going really well. We actually just came back from a mini trip to Atlantic City. We went for the weekend. We got back on Monday. We both had a lot of fun. Our boys are doing great too. Both of them are a lot happier having us both around. We still have a lot of work to do, but we're getting there. Slowly, but we're getting there. Well, we are trying to build a stronger relationship as a whole. There are certain aspects of our relationship that won't ever be the same. I used before the affair we both had a good relationship. I guess we both thought that. When we started MC, we started to learn that our relationship wasn't as great and we did have a lot of room for improvement in all areas. We both realized we did not nearly spend that much time together, I mean really together, as we really should. So that's something we've been working on that a lot lately, just trying to reconnect. We both have some resentment on both sides we have to work through as well. I really want us to build a stronger relationship where we both can happy. My comment: do you believe most marriages can be repaired? Do you condone repairing these kind of relationships? And do you encourage confession? I always encourage confession. It might not result in a good ending, but you will be able to sleep better tonight. Stay safe in your relationships.